Good morning, one and all. My name is Kathy, and I'd like to welcome you to this episode of the Scrap and Crafty Gardener. In today's episode, I'm going to be putting my spin on GinaK's Designs March 2024 card challenge, where you're doing a lattice background. I have already cut my cardstock out, and this is not my typical. It's still going to be a 5x7 card, but your base piece, and I'm using I think it's 110-pound Nina cardstock. This measures 7 inches by 5.5 inches, and you score it at either the 1/2 inch mark or the 5 inch mark, depending on how you have your paper turned. And you want to crease that down really good with your bone folder. Then you need 2 more pieces of 5x7, and I cut out, using the Waffle Flower Master Layout dies, a center panel. And I got my panel a little cattywampus. It kind of leans to the right at the top and over here at the bottom, but that's okay. I'm going to make it work. And I'm also going to use a 5x7 piece of acetate, and I've actually cut this just a hair shorter across and lengthwise so that it kind of fits inside your 5x7 panel. I maybe made it 1/8 of an inch shorter on each side. And I'm going to be using the Sensational Sunflowers. It's the rubber stamp and die, and I'll turn this over so you can see these stamps. These are just gorgeous. She has a larger one, and I'm not going to be using the larger one today. I'm going to be using this smaller sunflower and this You Are My Sunshine sentiment, and some of the leaves. Well, of course, she's got a lot of sentiments here. I really haven't picked out which one I want to use yet, but I'm going to be using the 3 leaves and the 2 leaves over here. And we need to get started on the rubber stamping first, because I'm using the Versifying Clair Nocturne, which is a pigment ink, so it takes a little bit longer to dry. I saved time by cutting that out already. And you also need just a handful of 1/4 inch strips. But let's get started on the stamping. Now, when I cut out my window, you had some extra pieces on the inside because it cut out the hole. So you've got that piece, and that's what I'm going to use to stamp today. And I'm just going to be using the My Sweet Petunia with the Waffle Flower grip mat. I love this thing. Now, I want to use the sunflower. And the small leaves. And this 3 leaf. Nope, not the 4 leaf. I want the 3. There's one here that has 4 leaves on it. I don't want to use that one. It's a little too big for my project today. And I want to use this 3 leaf. And I'm just going to close the lid of my Misty. And with that grip mat, the paper stays down. Oh, mistake already. I had this stamp upside down, easily fixed. We'll just turn it over the right way now. Well, let's find a spot for it on the paper that isn't wet now. We'll put it right there. All right. And I use my stamp helper here that I made. And put a little bit more on here. A little bit more ink, I think, on the bottom of the sunflower. We'll just give it a little bit more. Side of that leaf. There we go. And the sunflower looks good. A little bit more at the top tip here. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to set this aside to dry while we work on our card, because that's taking a little finagling to do that. The lattice background that I have in mind. Now, just get my rag. I prefer old washcloths, dishcloths. I can wash it out in the basement sink. It doesn't leave lint behind, and I can really scrub on these if I need to. And I'll just set that aside. Okay, now on the back of one of these panels, I have taken my ruler and I have measured down every inch on each side. That's where I'm going to be placing my strips. I'm just going to get a piece of scrap paper and I'm just going to take some double-sided sticky tape and put down the sides. Oh, here it is. Just to hold my pieces in place. Just leaving my marks showing for now. Because this is the back side. You won't see these once you get your project going. This will just help hold my strips down. And I'm going to put some just a little bit closer in here. Because I don't want the, oh, come on, don't go where I don't want you. I don't want the pieces of the lattice to fall when I'm putting it together. Just like that. Now we can peel these off. And the trick will be to keep you from sticking to the tape runner while you're putting this together. I haven't put one together yet, so I'm going to see if this works. I have it thought out in my head, but I did not make a sample to give it a go. So this is a trial and error to see if it works. And you're going to find out if I made it work, if I'm making it work or not. Now, I'm going to go corner to corner, but you see if I put this one here, it's only going to be a little bit. So I'm going to, it's just going to show slightly. I'm going to leave, nope, that won't show at all. I'm going on the right side of my mark. And if I put it on the right side, then that's not in the window. So we're going to go over to the next strip, put it on the right side of my mark and the right side of my mark and put that down. And then I can use this strip again. I'm going to go on the right side of my mark and the right side of my mark. If you go on the left side of your mark, it's just going to cover it up, so you might need to make more marks. And this one will go down here. All right, next piece, right side of my mark to the right side of my mark. I'll just leave that off and cut them off later. Now, this goes right in the corner. So I want to go, and this piece is not going to be long enough. There's a long piece. We're going right to the corner, since that's the next inch mark, to the right side of that mark. And now I can cut these little pieces off because we're going to be getting down to needing shorter pieces here. This is why I save all my scraps. I use them for all sorts of things. Now, right side of the mark to the right side of the mark, and that mark's not going to, there we go, I'll leave a little bit showing. This piece is not long enough, but this piece will be. Okay, right side of the mark to the corner. So far, so good. Right side of the mark, or in this case, it's above the mark, but it's just my little mnemonic to help me remember. Right side of the mark to right side of the mark. Oh, now I can use these short pieces. Right side of the mark to right side of the mark. And if I do this down here, it's not going to show. So now I'm going to trim off these ends. So far, this is going better than I thought it would. We shall see. Now, we're going to go from corner down here to corner up here, but I'm going to need to put a little bit of tape runner across these center pieces. And where did I, oh, here it is. Just to help hold this down in place, I'm thinking. I could use glue, but I'm thinking the tape will hold it better. I don't want to have a loose lattice. And I might not need all this glue or the tape runner, but it's going to help hold the acetate in place too, which you'll see from the inside. I'm thinking. But not much I can figure to hide it on the inside. Well, I could put a solid piece of, but I want the lattice to show through, which is what her challenge is. Okay, these are gonna bow up, so I need to cut them. And I did what I told you not to do earlier. Don't do long strips without holding it down as you go, or it will bow on you. And I think this is the last piece I need one on. Okay, now peel these up. Well, come on. Nope, that side's not going to go, so we'll work from this end. Sorry for the length of time here, but I don't like to edit my videos. For one, I haven't really figured out how to do that yet. And two, I want you to see how long this really takes. As I don't want you to think, oh, I can do this card in 5 minutes. Well, maybe you can, but I certainly can't. So I want you to see for real. Now I'm going to go right to the center with this one. It's going to be dead on center. All right, now, this piece won't go here, but this piece, I need another long one. Now we're going to go from the right side to the right side, which is the top. We can actually cover the marks now because we don't need to see them again. From the mark to the mark. And I hope I'm getting these on straight. Let's see if I can use some of these smaller pieces over here. And I can. Sticky card. There's a smaller strip. If it looks a little off, just adjust it. Maybe you didn't get your lines totally straight. For me, I have a terrible time even drawing a straight line with a ruler. Well, there's nothing sticky over here holding this down. Okay, so I need to put a little, well, we're just going to put a little drop of glue here. I have it ready to go. There we go. Now, okay, let's flip it over. Not too bad. Okay, I'm just going to go through and cut off all these extra pieces parts. I'm not going to cut them flush with the card because I want it to be a little bit behind. Just lift them up slightly, that works better. And I still have plenty of little strips that if I wanted to do more lattice work or just needed a small strip for something. I am a scrap hoarder. That needs a little bit of glue right behind here. Well, that didn't take too awful long of a time, I don't believe. You'll be the judge of that. Probably boring watching it. Okay, so that's my lattice. Now, I am going to take the inside piece. This piece is going to go inside our flap that we made. So I am going to use the tape because it'll hold a little bit stronger. And I'm going to put it right up to the edge and then another strip down inside. You can use any kind of double-sided tape you want that you have in your stash. You don't need to buy anything special. Some people have their preferences as to which tape works best. And if you have that, great, go for it. Me, I just grab whichever one I can afford at the time. Now there are some, I can't remember which ones, but I know them when I see them, that I avoid. Now I'm going to lay this down flat inside and fold that over and try and get it lined up even with the card. Oh, come on, don't do that. So I want that to be even. I'm going to fold my flap down. And that has that in there. Now, and then this will, oops, I see it. Okay, and then that's going to go in the middle. And there's another piece of paper that, get my scraps off here. They're sticking to the lattice. Now I want to take my acetate. And we're going to put this down here in the center. I just used a Swiffer cloth just to kind of keep it anti-staticky. Now I'm going to use double-sided tape again, just to go along the edges and kind of hold the acetate in place. This should be the longest part of making the card. Oh, and I forgot, this is not my tear-off tape. You have to cut this one. It doesn't look horrible on the inside of the card. But my mind's telling me to cover it up. But we'll see how it is when I get the card together. If it doesn't look great, then we will put a piece inside. Now, get these down here, and then I'm going to peel this off. If you don't have a bone folder, just use the side of your scissors. You could even use the edge of your ruler. This just came with my Cricut. And I have some smaller ones that came with my scoring platforms. Now I'm also going to put a little bit of liquid glue on here. And I'm using my art glitter glue today. This just gives a little bit of playroom. So if I don't get my front on straight, nobody will know. And I can go right across here, give it a little extra because this is at the bottom here. I got a little ink mark up there somehow. There's my sand eraser. There it is. Oh, I guess it's not ink, it was glue. Okay, and that's my open lattice card. I am thinking of putting a stencil in here, and that might look good, but this doesn't look too bad when I open it up. Though I can see this edge, so I'm going to trim it a little bit with my scissors. I don't want to see the edge of my card. There. Okay. Now, I do want to stamp on here. I don't know if I can, let's see, where's my larger? Okay, this may not work. Now, if I do it this way, I want to pick one of these sentiments to put on this card. Thankful for you. You are my sunshine. So very grateful. You are my sunshine. And I'm going to put it on this side because I'm going to put the flower over here. All right, let's see how well this works. Oh, perfect. That shocked me. All right. And it didn't really harm the acetate. So that can sit over there while we dry. And I'll clean this stamp off here with a... You can't see that. It's off camera because I have it leaning against me. If you get any ink on your grip mats, I love these grip mats. Oh my goodness. I would be lost without them. I've only had them a few days. But they're already worth the price I paid for them. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to pause for just a moment while I go cut these out, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. I've cut them out. Now I'm going to color them in, and I'm going to be using Ohuhu alcohol ink markers. And I picked out a few colors that I thought would be nice for sunflowers and leaves. And I'll start with the leaves first, because they're quick and easy. Now for my leaves, I've picked a lighter green, which is G364 Seedling Green, and G555 Bronze Green. These are the Ohuhu alcohol ink markers. And I'm going to use this one for inside the leaves. And I am going to attempt a little bit of shading using the other colors. I've been trying to broaden my coloring repertoire. My old French teacher would probably have screamed at that pronunciation. But I'm going to color them first, and then I'll do a little bit of highlighting. Okay, that's the plain color. Now, with this one, I know I'll do the stem. That's easy. Just follow the lines. So that's not too bad. Okay. This is an easy way of adding shading, just following the lines. If you go out, you just make it a wider line. Step in the right direction. Okay, now for the sunflower itself, I'm going to color it with Y696, appropriately named Sunflower, with accents of Y792 Marigold. And then the brown centers will be E475 Tumbleweed and E356 Maroon, but it's not really maroon. All right, so this is the color. This may take a moment. Feel free to fast forward through this if you don't want to watch me coloring. As I said, I do want to do it in real time so you can see how long or how not so long it takes. And I'm going to put down my main color first. And it has a lot of leaves. I don't know how the weather is where you are today. Just like 2 or 3 days ago, we were in the 70 degrees. It's supposed to get back down below freezing starting tonight. And then between tomorrow morning, which is Sunday, and Monday morning, we could get upwards of 6 inches of snow. So I think Mother Nature's going through menopause right now. And pardon me, my throat's a little dry. My mind is a little worried about my garden because my garlic is already sprouted that I planted last year. My blackberry bushes have buds all over them. I saw some buds on my blueberry bushes. Haven't seen any buds on my grapevines yet. But I also have some onions that seem to be growing. I thought I harvested them all last year, but there's out there. And even my asparagus seems to have started peeking up through the dirt. So I'm a little worried with these temperatures that it will ruin some of my items that I've already planted. Inside, I've already got all my tomatoes, celery, all my herbs, my peppers, my cayenne peppers. I'm trying to think what else I have planted over there, but the seeds have sprouted through the soil inside already. And that's okay, I can keep them inside until it's time for them to actually go out. For anybody who's interested in gardening, you know, it's very easy to grow lettuce inside. I actually have probably about 15 containers of romaine lettuce, and I have managed to have about a salad every day, every other day. And I have a cherry tomato growing perfectly inside. I didn't start it inside. It was actually out in my garden, and it started sprouting in November. And I thought, oh, I'll try taking it inside to see if I can grow. And by Jove, it's growing. I get not a whole lot off of it yet, but about twice a week I get a couple of little cherry tomatoes. So I'm quite pleased with that. Almost done with the majority of the coloring here. The big flowers are always the most time consuming to color. But I've never used this stamp. I've used the larger image to make a card. But this is the first time I've used the small sunflower, and it's so pretty. I grew quite an assortment of sunflowers last year. Everything from the giant Russian that seemed to be, it seemed 10 feet tall, but I don't think they were that tall. But they got so huge. And then I had little miniature sunflowers growing underneath them. But the vines just kept falling over because they were so large and so heavy. but I got a lot of sunflower seeds out of them. All right, now I'm going to put a little highlights, and this is where I might go wrong. I'm trying. Just adding a few colors coming out. Just little brush strokes here and there. Is this perfect? No. Am I having fun? Yeah, sort of. Keeps me busy, occupied, out of trouble. Okay, I'm not unhappy with that. And now for the inside. I think I'll use the larger tip for the inside. It's got a bigger area that I can just... I don't use the chisel tip a lot, but when I have a large area that I can just fill it in, that's okay. Now, just adding a little highlights, hopefully. Just following the design of the pattern, or the stamp, and putting in some dots. And I do want to add some gold to the center of this. I had my Artistro permanent marker pen. It's an oil-based paint pen. Just a few dots here and there. It adds a little bit of bling. And my cards have to have a little bling on them. Okay. Yes, I think I do need to stencil on the inside, but let's put this on the outside. I think I kind of want to put it here and here, like that. So I'm going to pop up this, and for the sunflower, I want it to pop up a little thicker. I don't have any of my foam dots left, but I have of this size, but I have the outside. When your dots get empty, like this, don't throw it away, because you can use this big honking thing right there. Let's see if I have another piece of that. And I do. Every little bit can be used. And we'll put that right there. All right. We're going to put the sunflower here. And then I'm just going to use some glue on here. To put the leaves like right there. And then these leaves will go right here. Now, let me go grab my stencils. So I'm going to pause you again for just a moment, and I'll see what I can do to brighten up the background. I didn't have any GinaK's stencils that weren't Christmas, but I have this, I think it's generic. There's no company name on it. I got some at yard sales. I got some on Amazon, and some my friends gave me. See, I can see that, so I'm not liking it. So I might do another flower on the inside. All right, and I'm just going to put some greenery here. Let's see what color I want to use. I want to use the fresh asparagus. Yes, we're going to use the GinaK's Designs fresh asparagus. And I am just going to stencil the inside here. Now, how does that look? Oh, that looks better on the outside. I'm going to add some bling. Let's see. I'm not much of a white card base. I'm going to stick with it. It's what I've got. Let's see. I've got my sequins here. These are kind of a sunflowery holographic gold. Just going to leave them on the... Okay, that'll work. My mind's saying, yes, this will work. So I'll get my close to my heart wax pencil here. But first I'm just going to put the dots down. Dots of glue. Okay, that's a lot better. Yeah. And I got a little bit of ink over here, so I'll get my sand eraser. All right, now I think I'm going to cut out another one of these sunflowers and put back here. So I'm going to do that offline, and then I'll come back and show you at the end. Okay, I'm done. I got it was really difficult. And you see, it's not totally lined up, but these flowers don't go well in reverse. So I wanted to make sure that you couldn't see the other backside image from the front. So that looks much better back there. It's hidden most of it. Now, I was still put off by the pure whiteness of the card. That's just not my style. So I took some GinaK's Design Kraft ink and I just kind of hit it along the edges, and I think that has made all the difference to my mind's eye. That's it. Thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.